Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. I am your host, Bob Mata, and welcome to Defense Diaries. We are going to continue our coverage of the Kouri Richins case today, which there were a few docs that were dropped over the past couple days. If you don't know anything about Kouri Richins' case, it is one of those cases that we're definitely going to be following. We've done a couple of lives on these, around this case rather, and it's one of those cases that just blows your mind. There's just like you can't write this stuff. Like it's absolute proof that real life is stranger than fiction, and this case is one of those particular situations. So I think what we're going to do a couple of things. All right. So ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I'm going to go through a bit of a timeline first. Okay. And we're going to get kind of an understanding what happened here and what the state is alleging. And this happened out in Utah. So this is a Utah case. And yeah, I just don't know what's going on out in Idaho and Utah. There's just a lot of weirdness going on. Now, I don't want we just binged American Primeval last night with Allie, my dad, and I. And it's I could not recommend that more than I do because it is just an unbelievably well done show. Um, 6-part series. I highly recommend it to anyone that may be interested in that kind of thing because it's basically going back to like the 1840s, or maybe it was 1875. At any rate, it involves Brigham Young. It involves, at that point, the Union Army, the Shoshone tribe, some pioneers, and it's crazy. It's a hyper realistic kind of portrayal of what our country was and what our country still is. I always tell you guys, I always say it, that we are a country that was born out of violence. I don't know how many lives I've said that, and that we have not moved the needle all that much in a couple hundred years. We're still just about the exact same in my estimation. The form of it is different, but the mentality is the same. And I think everybody this weekend should go and watch that. If you ever watched the series Friday Night Lights, you got Taylor Kitsch on there, who I loved. I loved him on Friday Night Lights, and he is phenomenal in it. The main protagonist, actress is phenomenal in it, and I hadn't seen her before. It's just really, really well done. Point being is that I had no idea that the Mormons, when they decided to kind of go out west, and I didn't understand how much the US government in particular did not like their belief system. They didn't like their religious beliefs. And ultimately, this was like a thing where they kind of tried to secede from the Union. Like they said, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go out west. Screw you guys. We believe what we believe. Y'all can believe what you believe, but just leave us alone. They kind of created their own government. And they were out there and they were warring like in a really profound type of way. And I wasn't even aware of that. And the show kind of centers around this one massacre that took place. And it was just brutal. It was brutal. And the Mormons had tried to pin it on the indigenous Native Americans that were in that area. And it's just phenomenal. So, I mean, kind of getting more background on the Mormons was really interesting as well. And the reason I bring that up is because we're seeing a lot of these cases starting really with Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, where it involves Mormons. And it's just it's like I was blown away by that show. I tweeted about it last night. I think we were on episode like just starting episode 5. I'm like this thing's unbelievable. Like I hadn't been so immersed in a show and I don't know how long. Like it was that good. I think Peter Berg directed it. It's phenomenal. All right, so I just found that interesting when I was trying to think about this case and kind of what is going on in Utah? What is going on in Idaho? Like, why is it the water? I just don't know. I just don't know. But let's talk a little bit about Kouri Richins and her now deceased husband, Eric. You guys are not exactly sure what Kouri and Eric look like. Let me just pull up a little picture here. Allie's going to be joining me imminently. She's coming. She's coming. Um, so it's a small picture and it's going to lose some clarity. So this is Kouri and Eric in happier days, and this is a marriage that seemingly on its face was going well. I mean, Eric was doing well financially. Kouri had her own business where she was flipping houses. She would buy investment property, she'd rehab it and turn around and flip it, make a profit. They had 3 beautiful boys. Like this, like it just had all the earmarks of just being a really happy, nice family that, we kind of all aspire to be. And at some point, something allegedly goes awry. So I'm going to give you guys a real quick kind of breakdown with some dates, some history, so that we have a better understanding of uh, what's going on here. All right, so I'm gonna pull that off. I'm gonna share this. A dear friend of the show put this together, so I cannot take credit for it. Our dear friend always wants to remain unnamed, but she knows who she is. So this is kind of the breakdown of this case, starting all the way back. So we go all the way back to 2010, and Eric Richin starts his business with a guy named Cody Wright, and they formed this company called C&E Stone Masonry. And then in fast forward to 2012, uh, Eric purchases a family home at 282 Willow Court in Francis, Utah. Shortly thereafter, on June 15th, which is one of our kids' birthdays, Corey and Eric get hitched. They get married in Francis, Utah. Before they do, before they give the I do's and the smooches and all the happiness, they sign a prenup. So Eric says, "Hey, I think I'd really appreciate if you signed a prenup." She does. They get married. So fast forward, marriage is going along. It's great. Kids are coming. And then in 2019, C&E, the stonemasonry company that Eric and Cody Wright started, they create a buy-sell agreement, and it's got this agreement contains a mandatory cross-purchase provision upon the death of one of the members. Okay, so this document is created, and Eric and Cody Wright are 50-50 partners. Each partner has a $2 million life insurance policy, with the other as the beneficiary. So fast forward to 2020, Corey, she incurs about 30 grand in credit card debt in her husband's name without his knowledge or permission. He finds out about it. He approaches her. He's like, "What is going on? What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh," she's like, I needed it. I wanted the business, and I needed it, and I'll repay it. I promise." So on the same day that he discovers that Corey had opened this credit card line of credit for 30 grand, he finds out that Corey had taken $200,000 out of his bank accounts without his knowledge or permission. He's pissed, as you can imagine. I mean, talking about just a breach of trust in a marriage. It's, that's that kind of thing. You're talking about $230,000. She's creeping around, pulling money out, a lot of it. So that spurs Eric to go to a divorce attorney, meet with a divorce attorney. So he on October 1st of 2020, he then meets with divorce attorney Christina Miller in Park City, Utah. And he's gonna get moving with that thing. So they reconcile, though. They reconcile. They've got a family. He's a good man. He's, money's money, love is love. They've got this family that he doesn't want to destroy. So they work it out, but he doesn't trust her. Obviously, he's struggling through, but he's got zero trust for this woman at this point. So if you skip to 2021, okay, this is where things are becoming evident that financially, Corey and her business, again, remember, she's got that investment property business where she buys and flips. So there's a lawsuit is filed by a company named Greengrass Holdings, and that's filed against Kouri Richins and entities for default on a loan against her receivables. So on or about September 30th of 2021, the plaintiff and the defendants entered into an agreement whereby the plaintiff agreed to purchase all the rights to the company defendant's future receivables, having an agreed upon value of $87,000. Company defendant further agreed to have one bank account approved by plaintiff, from which the company defendant authorized the plaintiff to make ACH withdrawals up until the $87,000, which she owed, was fully paid. Said withdrawals were a good faith estimate of the specified percentage of the company defendant's receivables at the time the agreement was entered into. So the Corey's company remitted about 21,752 of the receivables, leaving a balance of about 65,248. So in addition, pursuant to the agreement, the company, Corey's company, incurred non-sufficient fees in the amount of 210 bucks. Also, there were attorney fees of 2,500 and the payments. So I think she ends up settling that, and the payments were going to be five grand a week. So what's going on is she's leveraging property that she has. She's going out and buying these properties. Obviously, she's borrowing the money. She's not paying cash for these. And then she's got to rehab them and then get them on the market and sell them. So there's a lot of debt accruing because she's buying multiple properties at one time. So she's got debt that's amassing and she's not liquid. So if she's still rehabbing a property, she's not in a position to be able to sell the property yet. She's got notes coming due from the different mortgages that she's taken out from the different lenders. So she starts amassing a massive amount of debt. And there's this one property that she just loves. It's a mansion on just a sprawling piece of land. And she is of the mindset, this is my dream. Like this is the property that I'm going to hit the home run on. And that thing becomes her absolute obsession. Getting this house. Like she dreams about it every night. She's like, "Oh my god, like this property is amazing. Like we're going to hit a home run out of the park on this thing. I'm going to make millions on this deal." So skip to January 2nd of 2022. Eric and Cody Wright are notified by an insurance agent, a guy named Brian Feckelman, that the beneficiary changes were attempted on the account. 1 week later, Eric told Feckelman to forget about it. He said, "Don't worry about it." So then on February 11th of 2022, Kouri Richins obtains her first dose of fentanyl. Okay. And if you don't know anything about the case, I guess I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. Kouri Richins is alleged to have killed her husband by dosing him with a lethal amount of fentanyl. And it's after she had closed on that house that she dreamed of getting into her portfolio. And they're celebrating. She's so excited. But it seems like there was something very, very nefarious going on there. So she obtains the fentanyl she calls up a friend of hers. And the woman's name is Carmen Lauder. And she's like, "Look, I'm trying to get my hands on some fentanyl." Now, she's not saying I'm trying to kill somebody with it. She's just like, I'm just trying to get some fentanyl. Like for some bizarre reason, people do that recreationally, that drug, despite the fact that it's super, super deadly. So she calls Carmen. Carmen calls her friend. Carmen's friend gives Carmen. Uh, so Carmen gets the actual dealer of the drugs. She picks up the drugs on behalf of Kouri from the actual dealer. And then Kouri meets up with Carmen and she gives the fentanyl to Kouri. And that's the first time. She meets her at a gas station that's like close, there's pretty close to one of their houses. So at this point, on the 22nd on February 14th, Valentine's Day of 2022, Kouri prepares a sandwich for her loving husband. And she leaves it on the seat of Eric's truck with a love note. Eric's like, wow, how thoughtful, how delightful.
That
Oh,
was very sweet of her.
it was. Oh, look, it's my beautiful and brilliant co-host, Allie. What's up, girl?
Hey, babe. Hey, y'all.
Hey. So Eric's like, man, this is phenomenal. So he houses the sandwich and almost immediately feels like shit. Breaks out in hives. He's like, I can't breathe. He calls Kouri. He's like, I'm not. He's like, I'm feeling really sick. He's like, I don't know what to do. She's like, oh, I'll go take a nap. He's like, oh, he's like, whatever. He's like, I think I'm dying. I feel like I'm dying. She's like, you're fine. Just go take a nap. Go lay down.
I'll make you some special tea. Eat another sandwich.
He ends up using. He uses his EpiPen because he's got allergies. He's got allergies. So he uses his EpiPen, takes a nap, and survives it. Wakes up, sleeps for like 6, 7, 8 hours, wakes up, and he's like, man, he tells one of his confidants, one of his buddies, he's like, man, I got to tell you, dude, like, I think Kouri tried to poison me. His buddy's like, what? You, why do you think that?
Wow. So do you know, as you sit here now, is that a text? Is that a phone call? Because that's
Y-
crazy. If he thought like to even think that, it says a lot that that's even like a possibility in your mind.
Yeah, no, it's, I think it was a text message. We have it somewhere. The last live that we did, we went through, I think, those messages. So that is a confirmable conversation, if that's
Wow.
what you're asking. So
No, yeah.
yeah, he's there. Like Eric is there mentally. He's like she's stealing the money. She's and the other part of this is that she is having an affair with her handyman. So the guy who's doing all the rehabbing on all of her properties, that's her side piece.
Wow.
Okay. So fast forward to February 26th of 2022, Kouri arranges for a second fentanyl purchase, again from Carmen Lauder. And she's like, look, she's like, that stuff you got me last time was okay. She's like, but I'm really, really trying to get high. Like really, really high. Was that like the watered down version of fentanyl? I need stronger fentanyl and I need more of it. And Carmen's like, all right, I'll hook it up. She hooks it up, same process. Carmen goes to her person. She gets it. She mules it back to their meeting location. Kouri comes and picks it up. And Kouri sits on it for a little bit, a few days, plotting, scheming, allegedly. And all the while, she's getting ready to close on the house, the dream house, her dream house. And at that point, on March 3rd of 2022, after she's closed on the house, she's super excited. She then runs into the kitchen. Eric's in the bedroom. She's like, "Oh man, we have to celebrate." She's like, I made us a couple of Moscow mules." And then in the copper mugs, you drink the mules if you drink Moscow mules. So she hands Eric his Moscow mule, takes a big drink, takes another big drink, and ultimately Eric Richins dies that night. So it turns out that on so you're sitting here trying to think, like, why? I mean, is this woman so infatuated with her handyman that she's going to destroy her marriage? She's going to destroy her family, and she's going to kill her husband? Seems crazy, right? I mean, this guy's like a homeless dude. This handyman is not like he's not flush with cash. She's like supporting him completely. So turns out that on that very day that Kouri Richins had a rather lengthy phone call with the IRS. That she was just about 200K, just shy of 200K in debt to the tax man. So Corey's financial situation as of the date of Eric's death is as such. She has outstanding taxes due in the amount of $189,840. She's got hard money loans from hard money lenders out there in the amount of $1,847,760. And she owes her husband $514,346. Now, she was borrowing money from him for the business, which was agreed upon to be paid back. This isn't like, oh, here, honey, just take money. Eric's got business partners. He's like, this is a financial arrangement. So on 3/4 of 2022 at 3 a.m., Eric Richins dies. Kouri tells law enforcement that she found Eric at about 3 a.m. after she returned to their bed from sleeping with their other children. So she was putting the kids to bed. So that's what she first tells the cops, right? She's like, "Oh, we celebrated." I don't even think she brought up the mules at that point. She just says that which is not unusual. I mean, we always used to read to the kids when they were that age. Many times we'd fall asleep in there. You still do. We'll scout if she needs a back rub, fall asleep. That happens.
Yeah.
So, on 3/4, Kouri decides to delete all her phone data. She starts deleting things from her phone. On 3/4, the value of Eric Richins' estate is estimated to be 5.1 million at the time of his death. And then on 3/5, Kouri then signs loan documents for the purchases of 107 North Legacy Lane. Maybe that's the dream property, because that was a $2 million like a $2 million loan. The property is immediately encumbered by $3.6 million in loans for 4 other loans. So that loan is dated for January 7th of 2022, and it's not recorded until April 12th of 2022. That could be on the lender, though. Like sometimes they, like after a closing, they don't necessarily record the loan against the lien or put the lien on the property right away. So that's not super unusual. I mean, for that amount, it's a little bit unusual. So on 3/5, she's got the purchase loan and renovation loan for 2.6 million. On 3/5, she's got another loan for 150K. On 3/8, she's got another 420,000 that comes in. for another what we think could be a renovation loan. And then on May 8th of 2023, she's finally arrested. Now, before she's arrested, Eric's family, his brothers, his sisters, his parents are all very suspicious of Kouri. She's running around. She doesn't seem to be like mourning the death of her husband. And so she gets into it with one of Eric's sisters named Amy. And Corey's enraged after being told about the trust, which Eric had changed the beneficiary of the trust because Kouri thought that she was the beneficiary and she wasn't. So,
Oops.
oopsies. So that was, she was relying on that money as being I don't even think it was her being the beneficiary as much as she was supposed to be the trustee. Which means that she would have had control of the money in
How
the
it's
trust.
spent. Yeah,
Right.
how-
So, because I think we're going like what we're actually talking about is we're going all the way back up. In terms of like, I think there was a trust account that was entered into, and so the other part of this case, when we really start digging into this, is, and I talked about this in the last live that we did, is the trust, the estate battle that's going on in this case is epic. Because she's been like, she was shut out. Eric was smart enough to ace her out of everything. And that was what she was relying on. She thought she was going to have control of the money. She thought that was going to cure all of her financial ills, only to come to find out that she's allegedly killed her husband and now has no control over anything. None. So the cops are doing the work. They start figuring out what went down with the purchase of the fentanyl. They start putting 2 to 2 together. And ultimately, on 6/13 of 2022, before she's arrested, she gets arrested for the assault on Amy Richins, where she had punched and choked her out, which is, again, Eric's sister. And then finally, I'm going to kind of skip to the arrest. So that gives you kind of like there's a lot here, but I want to get to some of the other stuff. And like, this is all the estate stuff. The estate stuff is unbelievable. And it's like I was telling you guys the last time we were talking about this case, you're going to find out a lot more in terms of dirt from the estate stuff, just because you're not going to have the same constraints that you have in criminal court in terms of constitutional rights. So in pleadings, that's like where you hear all the dirt. I mean, this is like a money fight in probate court. So, those things get crazy. People let it fly out there, right?
Yeah, and they do you have a whole another group of people doing discovery and digging, so that's definitely helpful to the state later.
Yeah, and our friend of the show is probably sitting here, so like, Bob's screwing up all kinds of facts. Doing the best I can in front of the show. So on April 1 of 2023, during the death investigation, they get Corey's phone. Okay. And obviously I'm sure they use Celebrite and they extract her searches. So these are some of the internet searches on her phone, on her second iPhone.
So this is what the law enforcement found during the death investigation, not what was found by um the attorneys in the property
Correct.
rights suit.
Correct.
All right, so Can you delete everything on an iCloud account? I figured we'd trade.
Oh, can you delete everything off an old iPhone without actually having it?
Can you chance the password can you change, typed out as chance, the password remotely of a lost cell phone?
How long to change the password on a lost cell phone? Um, can deleted text messages be retrieved from an iPhone?
Answer, yes.
Yes,
What
unequivocally.
do cops do when they seize electronics? We're not including all the numerous typos, but
What information can be obtained from a cell phone?
women, Utah prison.
Oh,
Okay.
can cops uncover deleted messages in iPhone?
Yes. How how to lock my iCloud? Try
How
deleting it.
to how to erase a phone data permanently with a EMI number?
How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely.
Can cops force you to do a lie detector test?
What are you allowed inside Utah jails? I need to know, can I bring my lipstick? Can I bring my soft, comfy socks? Bob would definitely need his soft, comfy
I
socks.
need my snuggle socks. There's no question about that. Um, death certificate says pending. Will life insurance still pay?
Luxury prisons for the rich in America.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's insane.
Oh boy, here's a good one.
Um, if someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as?
Homicide.
Murder.
FBI analysis of electronics in an investigation.
Oh boy. Um, can the FBI find deleted messages?
Mm, yes. Can the cause of death be changed on a death certificate?
When does the FBI get involved in a case?
How long does life insurance companies take to pay?
And what is a lethal dose of fentanyl? So
Dun,
there's some
dun,
more.
dun. I
Oh,
would have had your noise there.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, smoking gun, a little bit smoking gun stuff there. So, all right, finally, as they keep digging and digging and digging and finding more evidence on May 8th of 2023, the state of Utah files charges of aggravated murder and distribution times three. So Corey's in custody. She hires. She's got a lawyer named Sky Lazaro. Well, I actually was trying to get Sky on here. I had a thing where she was on court TV with opposite of me, and we had like a little nice email thing going back and forth. And Sky ended up, which we're going to look at next. Sky ends up getting thrown under the bus heavily by her client, Kouri Richins. Kouri Richins appears to have that I'm the smartest person in the room type syndrome that sometimes defendants get.
She forgot to search. Can they recover my search history?
Yeah, yeah,
How do I delete my search history? And if I do so, will it be permanently deleted?
yeah. So before before she is arrested, all right. I want to bring up, and I'm not going to play all of it because I don't want to get some kind of weird claim or whatever they call it, strike or whatever. But I, I think that. Hold on, I don't know where it disappeared to. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me look for it. I want to. So in the interim, before she is arrested and after her husband has died. Hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta clear my throat. Talk for a minute, babe.
Let me clear my throat.
Mm.
All right, I'll talk for a little. I was Oh, he did mute. I was like, is he clearing his throat? Let's all just watch how Bob clears his throat on mute. Because I don't know what to say.
Thanks, Dave. It's great. That was great.
Oh, boy, sorry.
I can't get rid of this thing with my throat, this phlegm buildup thing.
In
It's
all
got me.
honesty, I was emailing a lawyer that I've got court with this afternoon that I'm, hoping I don't even have to appear on Zoom for because 'cause we're gonna resolve it, so I wasn't paying very close attention to the background that you were giving, so that's why I was at a loss for what to say.
Okay. So if you don't, so in the interim, um, Corey ends up writing a children's book. Okay. And the children's book is called Are You With Me? And it is a book for children that focuses on those children coming to grips with the loss of a beloved parent. And, she does a little book tour, and I think she goes on like Good Morning Utah.
And, before we got on, Bob and I were looking at some stuff. She's so unassuming. You would never I mean, not that you can usually tell who's a spouse murderer by looking at them, but, you know, she
All
just
right.
looks like a sweet mother,
Yeah, she looks like a sweet, sweet mother. Looks can be deceiving, allegedly. Allegedly.
allegedly.
All right, so this is on Miss Morris Reads. She's got a nice little channel over there. Um, I think her thing is she likes to read children's books, which is a really nice idea. And she's got a pleasing voice as well. But I thought we'd listen to a little bit of "Are You With Me" by Kouri Richins, the book that she wrote for her kids. So let's see.
Started as a whisper.
There it
Are
is.
You With Me? By Kouri V. Richins.
Look at that cover. See, you can see Eric up there. Look at that, huh? See him?
Yeah.
It's up there.
Dedication. Dedicated to my amazing husband and a wonderful father. Always on our minds, forever in our hearts.
Like,
You're probably gonna
mm,
get a strike for whatever this music is too.
Yeah, well, I really just wanted to kind of show that beginning portion. So she's got it, she dedicates the book to Eric, and then she's got the kids,
Oh, and the
and
dog.
her and Eric and Harley, the dog. So we're not going to listen to the whole book because even though I find Miss Morris Reads to be delightful, we're just not going to do that. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a peek at the infamous walk the dog letter. So as I was starting to say, she had hired Sky Lazaro, who was representing her, and Sky was a part of a bigger law firm. And they had multiple attorneys that were kind of handling the case. Sky had kind of taken the reins though. And so like when I did the appearance of Sky, I was like, "Oh, I'd love you to come on. We're covering Richins." And like she was like, she's like, I can't really get into that. Which I understood, obviously. That made sense. So I don't know. Have you ever seen or heard about the walk the dog letter?
I mean, just by the terms, there's a walk the dog letter, but I have not seen it or heard it.
Okay, so this is a note or a letter that is the
Take
state
big
the state
notes.
believes that it was written to her mother. Okay.
And it
Yeah.
remind the people where this was found and how the police got their hands on it.
Well, we're going to get into that when we get into the motion to suppress. The reason we're
Ah,
going through this letter today,
is to suppress this is what the hearing is about.
correct.
Okay.
It's not even the hearing, it's just the motion. The hearing is yet to come. So
What?
Yeah. Well, they've attacked this once before. So when Sky was back on the team, they tried to get this out of their lives, not through a suppression motion, but it was through basically prosecutorial misconduct. And, that they were reading um, attorney-client privileged information, that this was, that this was gotten improperly by the prosecutor. It was like an attack on the prosecutor that they had done all kinds of shady things in order to get their hands on this letter, because there was another circumstance where Kouri, when she's in prison, her mom's visiting her, her move was to plaster. When her mom was sitting on the other side of the glass, she would plaster something that she needed to tell her mother that she had written on the window so that she could read it, so that she wasn't having to speak it over the recorded line. So after that goes down, they then toss her cell and they find this thing in there. But they don't find the original letter, but they find this thing. So I thought it would be fun. We'll alternate pages. Okay.
All right.
Walk the dog. Exclamation point, exclamation point. But take vague notes so you remember, little italicized thing.
Asterisk.
So Sky Lazaro, is saying even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say that I tried to put the fentanyl in the gummies. So Eric would have them. It's stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We will still test them, though. However, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico. So we need some kind of connection. So you can see what she's doing here. She starts, the first word that she writes down in the letter is Sky Lazaro. So she is literally implying that her attorney has cooked up this plot. Okay. So
I don't know. I got to hear it. So far, I just hear her saying this is the way the defense is going to go. We need some evidence to support it. Not that it's phony.
okay, so okay here, but all right. So she being Sky wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico. So we need some kind of connection. So Sky's theory, she's saying Sky's theory is like Eric was DL eating like fentanyl gummies. That was his jam. That's what he was doing on the side. So her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch, the cartel, place Eric would stay at. Here's what I'm thinking, but you have to talk to Ronnie, who's her brother. He would probably have to testify to this, but it's super short, not a lot to it. He will need to tell Sky at the meeting next week, upon information and belief, just like they say, a year prior to Eric's death, Ronnie was over watching football one Sunday, and Eric and Ronnie were chatting about Eric's Mexico trips. Eric told Ronnie that he gets pain pills and fentanyl from Mexico, from the workers at the ranch. And he told him not to tell me because I would get mad, because I always said he just gets high every night and he won't help take care of the kids. There are pictures in my phone of Eric passed out on the floor or in the chair. Ronnie should have texts from Eric talking about getting high as well. Eric told Ronnie he keeps them in an allergy pill bottle in his work truck so that I wouldn't find them. Ronnie never told me about the conversation.
All right. So that that resolves my concern. That is she possibly just conveying truthful information as opposed to creating a fiction?
Right. This is what she is telling her mother
That her
to
brother
has to tell
right.
next week for an affidavit. So Eric finally told me and asked if Carmen could get him some. Eric never wanted, you're up.
Oh, sorry.
And you have
Anyone to know that he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted what?
Kouri.
Oh, Corey. All right, I'll do that again. Um, Eric didn't want anyone to know he had an issue, especially get caught. He always wanted Corey to go down for him. When they traveled, Eric put his drugs in Corey's bag at the
Muling.
airlines right before they boarded. That way, if they were caught, Corey got in trouble, not him. Once they got to wherever they were going, Eric would pull the drugs out of her bag and it would cause a huge fight. She was pissed. He would risk her going to jail for his drug use. He just would laugh about it. Eric couldn't run his image that way. He had drug issues. So he would do whatever he had to. Corey has never done any type of pills, didn't like them. Rarely would she consume THC, only if Eric begged her because it was a special occasion. Asterisk here. Reward this.
Reword.
Oh boy, asterisk. Reword this however he needs to make the point. Just include it all. Closing asterisk. The connection has to be made with Mexico and the drugs. Ronnie will have the messages to prove Eric confided in him about getting high. It can be short and to the point, but it has to be done upon information and belief. LOL. They never found pain pills or fentanyl in my house because he hid it in an allergy bottle in the work truck. And Cody emptied out the work truck within a week. So they were never found.
When you talk to Ronnie about this, meet up with him in person. I worry sometimes your house and phone are bugged. Maybe drive down to Salt Lake and meet him after work without Bree. Sky has to make the connection between Eric and Mexico because that makes the most sense in her mind. If it is Ronnie's information and belief about the conversation over football, she can use that as a connection. Tell Ronnie don't to overanalyze it. It was a quick 2-minute conversation. LOL. Tell him I need him to do this. Bring me home, and then we will get those damn bitches. Also, please text Lotto or call. Tell him do not text me anything about us doing things together ever, like church, skiing trips, nothing that puts us together. It doesn't look good. We're so close to the end. Let's push through. Have the conversation with Ronnie before he meets with Sky. Then tell him to tell Sky at the meeting about the conversation. Hang in there. We're almost there. Love you to the moon. Little heart. Take vague notes, asterisk. Take vague notes of all this so you remember before you walk the dog.
So before I move on, what I find sort of odd is that clearly they have predefined what walk the dog means, like use this paper to pick up dog shit, i.e. throw it out type of thing, you know?
Well, again, so when she's instructing her to take notes, it's because she wasn't going to mail this out. You know as well as I do that they search everything that gets mailed in and out of a jail or a prison. So what she was going to do is she was going to plaster this on the wall, on the window between them when her mom came to visit. That's why she's telling her take notes.
I
So
get it now.
right. So
Okay.
she didn't get to do that with this particular note yet. So they intercepted this before she was able to get this information to her mother.
Wow, that was a lot. All right, so continuing on page 4. I saw a commercial yesterday, Utah Mortgage Relief. Google them, please. It's for people behind on their mortgage. Can you see if they can help at all on Marissa's house, please? We have to get hers, yours, and Chelsea's taken care of ASAP. Try to go to that place in Camas. What about asking Lotto to do a loan solely in his name and not have you on there? I know he can do it do a home equity line of credit on his house in Hideout. Not sure if he would, but I know he has like a million in equity. Maybe he just doesn't know about a HELOC, home equity. If he wants to help me, taking care of these loans is most important. I don't give a shit about yodels. Remember, I told you, one way to get to Katie is going through my phone and finding a picture of her girls, even with the boys. Print is
15.
print 15 copies and send them out anonymously to different media companies. Obviously, don't email pictures so it's not traceable. She would be livid if it got out to the public. You would just have to do it sneakily and be careful. She would try and trace it back to you. If not, no worries.
Sky is having the My Girls do the first interview with Good Morning America. Please tell Chelsea to bring up that he hasn't been to church in the last 13 years. She has known him, and Eric would brag to her about how much he drank and did pills in high school. Tell Kelsey to say, quote, Eric always wanted Kouri to go down for him, end quote. For example, he would put drugs in her suitcase when she would travel together or when we would travel together. So if anyone got caught, it was going to be Kouri. He would put it in her bag right before they left the house so Kouri didn't know. Then, when we would land wherever, Eric would take them out of her bag and Kouri would be pissed and they would argue about it. All Kelsey has to say, all Kelsey to say, or tell Kelsey to say, Eric didn't care and would just laugh about it and say, well, I can't get in trouble, as if it was okay that I got in trouble. Have Selma talk about Eric in Spain not being able to drink, so he was looking for the drugs the entire time, and explain the drink the waitress gave him and how I called his doctor and went to the pharmacy immediately. Have Allie talk about how the sisters have always. Your turn.
Oh, sorry. Age 6. I was like, "What? Have them talk about what?" Have the sisters talk about how they have always been jealous of me because anything they could do, Kouri could do better. I have that song playing in my head now. Being a mom, college, stay-at-home wife until she built $1 million company, a nice house, car, everything she had, they wanted. This comes down to jealousy, money, and Eric's partying that they don't want to acknowledge, and sadly, an accidental overdose. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it to use in our defense. Continue.
Sorry.
Scroll.
Sorry.
All right, I'm going to say that again. Lastly, don't forget to work on the gun receipts. We want to file charges and let the prosecutor not do anything about it to use in our defense. Will you buy a box of Crest white strips, open them up, put in an envelope, and have Sky give them to me? You can tell her what's in the envelope. I'm sure she won't care. I'll make sure they can't be found in my cell. My teeth are yellow from so much coffee and tea all day. Frowny face. I love you. I love you. I love you. Hang in there. We're getting there slowly. You're the best mom in the whole world. I'm so lucky to have you. So
Wow.
I just want to say, obviously she's innocent until found guilty. She's presumed innocent. There does seem to be a lot here that implicate her, but a letter like this doesn't necessarily mean that the person is lying. Now, this one, it's kind of there's a couple of clear giveaways, such as, because she, say that he never told me this story. So obviously she's not recounting a real story. When you take that kind of last stuff that I read, it's all possible that those things happened. That when they were in Mexico, he couldn't drink, so he was searching for drugs. That something happened with a waitress. That when he traveled, he put his drugs in her suitcase. So
Yeah. Oh, look, Laura Ferris. 6,666 times the lethal dose is not an accidental overdose. That is what was in his stomach. 20,000 ng milliliters, 3 ng milliliters is a fatal dose, just for comparison.
She's
So
bringing you just the facts there, that Lauren Ferris.
Laura Ferris always brings
Laura
you
Ferris.
facts. All right, so check your email because
I
next we're
got
gonna
it
do-
up.
Okay, so after they find this in the cell, okay, she has a phone call with her brother Ronnie. Now, you are going to play the part of Kouri Richins. I will play the part of Ronnie Darden, her brother. Okay.
Yep.
All
Make a
right.
ring sound first, babe.
Ring. Ring. That's an old school ring sound, isn't it? You were receiving a collect call from, you have to say Kouri Richins.
Oh, okay. Wait, start it again.
Ring. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Wait, I thought you were going to say you're receiving a collect call from
Oh, you were receiving a collect call from.
Kouri Richins.
Will you accept the charges for this call? Yes. Yes, I will. Is Mandy back here? Oh, yeah.
It wasn't me.
All right. Hey,
Hi, what are you doing?
so working. So what? You can call but not text?
I guess so. I don't know. There has to be some kind of mix up because because the guy that did my disciplinary action yesterday, he never said that I couldn't text, like message. He said I had to video call. So, but then
Oh, yeah, maybe.
the deputies here are saying, no, he needs, okay, so this is what the sentence says. Limit phone calls. It says, limit phone calls to voice only and only handwritten letters out 90 days.
Okay, so what she's referring to is a court order. So after they found out about these letters, they went in, the state went in, and they made the judge aware of it. They wanted to modify the conditions of her confinement. They figured out that she was relaying messages by using her note on the window technique, and so that's what they're saying in terms of this is what the court order says. Okay, and so Ronnie says, "For what?
Exactly. What does that mean?
Doesn't it like
Only,
you literally did not do anything? Like, what the hell are they disciplining you for?
and then I'm on 30 days of lockdown, 23 hours a day, no commissary.
For what? Like, they have to give you a reason."
For the paperwork. That's what they're saying. For my paperwork that they illegally found, which I wasn't hiding, but it,
For your paper, what does that have to do with the jail? What does what does that have to do with your behavior in the jail?
well, I guess the jail gets to do disciplinary action too, is what they're saying. The jail does discipline
Again, for what?
and court, and they're like trying to say like my paperwork was contraband.
Contraband?
Yeah, yes.
Like you stuck it in there? What the hell does that even mean?
Well, it doesn't make they just tried to stack as many things on as they could. Like there's three different they call them findings, and they're all
Contraband means any item that's relating to is illegal to be possessed or sold.
and just to circle back, Bob made that noise because the transcript notes inaudible.
Right.
So if you hear that moving forward, that is Bob Mata's interpretation of inaudible. So Kouri responds, yes.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So I'm going to interrupt here because it just seems like he doesn't really know what happened. Like, because I don't see how they're calling a letter paperwork. Like, if he knew exactly what happened, I don't think he'd be sounding this, shocked. But moving on. I know. It doesn't make any freaking
That's still you.
Oh, okay, I'm just gonna do that again. All right, so Corey responds, I know. It doesn't make any freaking hold on. Hold on one sec. Oh, I don't know what she said. Anyway, I have no idea how one frickin' relates to the other.
It doesn't. Those fucking piece of shit Park City police told the jail what to do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's what fucking happened.
that's what it all comes down to. Well, and they just keep saying it's a letter. It was never a letter. Like, it was part of a frickin' book. Like, it was never a letter. It was never in an envelope or
It was part of the book you're writing?
yeah. So I'm writing this book that so basically it's like everything that happened up until like the detention hearing, you know? And
Yeah.
then at the detention hearing, I actually got out of jail. So it's like a fiction mystery kind of book, you know?
Uh-huh.
So anyways, at the detention hearing, I actually get out and I'm on this mission to go to Mexico to like find these pills and I like called up dad. Like, and I'm like, "Dad, you've gotta come with me to do this." Like, it's a whole fiction mystery book. And so, like, obviously it's not real. Like when my dad has been dead for 2 years. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so me and dad go to Mexico. I mean, it's like this really long, like 60 something page book. And
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah.
me and dad go to Mexico and we go to the ranch and that Eric stayed at. And then we find out there's human trafficking. And then dad is trying to do like find out like who sold it to him. And it was the guy in the kitchen. And then we're like, "Oh my gosh, we got it. We recorded it." Like, Ronnie, this is how ridiculous this thing is. I'm not kidding. So then dad's like, "Oh, it's the guy from the kitchen. Like, he just sold me some." And I was like, "Oh my god, there's human trafficking here. We gotta go." Anyway, we go back to the cross the border. I get arrested because I was out on bail and supposed to leave and not supposed to leave the state. I write you and mom like this letter from Mexico prison. I'm like, "Get me out. You've got to come like all this stuff, you know? Like da 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 da. Da. You got to tell them." And like, I can't believe this is happening. And then I get out of the Mexico jail, and then the trial starts, and then I write about the trial, who's testifying. Like, they literally took those papers out of the story.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. It's a 65-page novel. They read the whole thing, and on the front of the novel, this is the worst part. On the front of the book, it literally says, "These are true events that have happened in my life, but the statements, the events, or this is surrounding, it says something like, "These are surrounding the events of my life, but the statements, the events, and the way it plays out have been falsified for a fiction novel. It caused to," it should say, I think, called
Yeah.
to hell and back. None of this can be used against me. This is only a book. So they read the whole.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes, and that's why this is crazy. So they read the whole book, but only took out 3 pages that they sent to them, knowing that that's what it said on the front of it, knowing that I'm talking about what's going to Mexico with my dad that passed away. Like, what?
I have some questions about that because yeah, it definitely does not read that way, like at all, obviously. Because they pick and choose.
They pick and choose, and it even talks about, like, I said something about, "I want Sky to get me white strips," or something, like, da 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 da. And then the thing is, so, like, I get locked down because I got, like, white strips in and, like, some I put, like, I don't know, some girl told on me or something, like, I write this whole thing, and then it talks about, like, the media stuff, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, now I'm in Mexico prison." Like, the media is going to go crazy. Like, so, like, some of it's like so a lot of Like the first 6 chapters are like true. What like everything that's played out, you know? And then
Yeah.
the last of it's kind of all altered. And like I said, some of it is true, some of it's not. Like it's, you know, it's a book. It's a fiction book. Like, and then I said something like, the media is going to go crazy. Like, you have to tell. I don't remember who I said somebody about doing like media and like had posted this picture of the kids. So I was like, "You posted that? Like, this is crazy. Like, get me out of this prison." Blah, blah, blah. It is this long, long thing. And that's what they nitpicked?
Do you have like all the other pages?
Yeah.
Does Sky know this?
Yeah. I told her. I gave it to her.
Oh my God.
I know. I gave it to her and I showed her the front of it. And it was all in my Sky folder because I didn't know how much I can say. Like, I don't, because it's all just some of it's true, some of it's not, some of it's altered. Like, it's just, I didn't know what I can and can't say, like in this book, you know? So obviously,
Yeah.
it's fiction if I'm in New Mexico prison and we're already going to trial. And he says
And Dad's alive. Like,
dad's, yeah. And so I have like all of these pages like bent. So they go together, you know, like it's
uh-huh.
very clear
Uh-huh.
that the pages go like this is together. And on the front of it, it says like the title, the characters, like because I didn't change, on the front of it, I like, I had your name's Vinny. I don't know why, but I have like all the characters and then what their names are going to be changed to. But like when I'm writing, it's like confusing to think like, okay, wait, who's Stella? Who was, you know,
Oh yeah.
so I use all of them and then I go back and change them in the names that they are on the front of the freaking book. And it even says like the title, these are the chapters, these are the characters.
Are you fucking serious?
Nothing on this book can be used against me. Like this is all a mystery fiction book. It's all which makes sense because the girl said that they had checked my cell like 6 times. And one of the times they spent like 2 hours. And I was like, so they were reading through the whole book.
Yeah, they knew what the hell they had.
Yeah.
They knew that it was a fucking bullshit book.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, no, this looks like this could be
This looks good.
decriminating.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see this one." Oh my fucking God.
I know. That's why I'm like telling you this is insane. There was never a letter. There was never a letter in a book in an envelope. There was this was never a letter. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Does Mom know this?
Yeah, I told her, but she was like halfway listening. I'm like, "Mom, I'm trying to."
When did you tell her?
A couple days ago. Oh no, the first day. I think it was the first day when I got locked down.
Well, she clearly was not listening, because she has not told me that. She wasn't listening to you at all.
I didn't think she was. And I'm like, "Mom, are you hearing what I'm saying?" And she was like, "Yeah." So anyway, I'm like, "Oh my hell." So you didn't I was like, "Okay." So I don't know if she told DJ. I didn't know if she told you. I didn't know. But Sky has the freaking book.
Nope. This is the first I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting too. Like they go and we're like dad and I like we're hunting and we like the Mexico guys were up on a cliff and we have to pretend like you know like how are we like Ronnie, it's just a detailed book. I'm not shitting you. Like what the fuck man is happening? And then when we find out Marco the guy in the kitchen is the one that sells the pills and we get some from him. But then there's all like these 15 and 16-year-old girls that are like getting human trafficked because they have this like 4th of July party and like,
Why do they have a 4th of July party? That doesn't make any sense.
yeah, I know. And it even says in there like Mexican, like we don't know if they're going to have a party
Like an Independence Day?
because we're in Mexico, but
Oh,
yeah, because I had just gotten like released on detention hearing, so I wanted to get to Mexico like right ASAP. So it's like we're getting to Mexico like on the 3rd and then like dad says, "Well, shit, this will be perfect maybe." And they'll just celebrate anyway. And that's when like the party and the drugs will come out. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Good idea." And then we find out that they really are having a party and like they bring in truckloads of beer and all this stuff. But really, it's not just a party, it's a sale of like human trafficking girls. Like,
yeah.
and I write how like all the guys and the women are dressed to the T. But then, like, they have these, like, 15 and 16-year-old girls with them that are, like their makeup's running down their face, and they're, like, like, rocking back and forth, like, you can tell they're so drugged. And then I hear a conversation with some guy that says, "Hey, I'll give you 10 grand for that girl," and that's when I find out, like, it is really
Oh my God. No, dude. Everyone is blowing. Apparently, I don't know. I don't watch the news, but no, they're all blowing up about this.
yeah,
So that's fucking unreal.
like, at some point, I hope Sky is gonna say, like, what it really is.
I'm sure that she will. I don't think that anybody knew. Like, mom told me this as I was going in to do I was a little busy and I was like blowing up. And then I get a call from a reporter and I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I was pretty damn pissy with them because they're like instantly asked. I was like, how the fuck do you even know about this? And she was like, well, they're talking about this and this. And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I kind of got pretty shitty with her.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, like apparently you're freaking it's all over the damn place. So I mean, that's real good now. I'm sure this guy's going to come out and say it.
I hope so. It's even, like, dated back to when, like, it's just is so crazy how, like, out of context everything is.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, you took those part of the pages, but you forgot the rest of it."
Well, duh.
Right, like
Yeah, no, it makes Sky's thing was actually really good. Like they did it illegally, first of all. Secondly, the gag order doesn't fucking like it's already out in the public docket. It's already out in the public eye. Like they're trying to fuck her and try her trial.
uh-huh,
Even if this comes out, even when it comes out as being a book, like, well, still like this is all they're just trying to fuck her entire trial to taint a damn jury.
uh-huh,
And it's obvious that's what they're doing
right?
because they're that desperate. It's unbelievable.
And that's the thing you were looking for the other day, that they did not do it. I'm telling you, it was not done intentionally.
The thing that I was looking for the other day.
Yeah, the
Oh, oh yeah. Yeah.
they
They didn't do it intentionally.
intentionally did not do it. No, they did
They did intentionally.
not do it.
You just said they did not do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was never done. That specific thing was never done, and they made sure it was never done intentionally.
Yeah. That is bonkers.
Yeah,
Those fucking morons.
because if it was done it would show,
That they fucked up.
what they yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah,
No, she didn't.
huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I knew she wasn't, like, paying attention when I'm, like, trying to tell her, but you know how she does.
Well, yeah. Well, mom was just on the phone with Sky, and she said that you're not allowed to call her anymore.
Wait, what?
Mom was just on the phone, or mom just texted Sky, just saying, "Hey, this is what Corey can't text for the next 90 days and do this, that, and the other, whatever, whatever. I just want to let you know." And I guess Sky told her she can't talk to her on the phone anymore. You on the phone anymore.
What? She just barely said that?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what did you say back to her? And I said, I was like, well, no, think again. And she goes, I didn't do anything, but mom did not hear you worth a damn. She definitely was zoning out when you said that. Otherwise, she'd say something if she's still referring to it as a letter.
Oh my gosh. It was never a letter.
I know. This is fucking.
Well, you'll have to explain it to her.
I am. I'm going to call her as soon as you get off the phone.
Well, it's gonna hang up in a minute, so I just wanted to check in. Tell her
Well, cool.
to not freak out at Sky.
I'm not. That's all. I was like, so she had like this whole thing that she was going to write. I was like, no, 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 no. Just say, nope, think again. Sky's going to file whatever she wants, but you can't tell a mother not to talk to her daughter. What else is she going to, who else is she going to talk to all day?
Yeah, I get it, but all right. Well, you can give mom a call. I'll let you go.
Okay.
Are you sure? Are
I'm
you
going to call her
sure?
right now.
Wait.
Jesus.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, I'm going to call her right now. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Wait, one more time.
Okay, I'm going to call her right now. Jesus.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Click.
All right. Well, that puts a different perspective on the letter. I don't know.
All right. So, okay.
It obviously could also be that she did all that to conceal the quote letters, so that she could say it was a book.
Right. I mean, she's thinking. She's in there thinking. She is thinking. All right. So, that leads us into. So they attacked that, like I said, one time already back when Sky was, of her counsel, and then Sky dipped. She's no longer on the case. The firm's no longer on the case, and then she got new counsel, and so they just filed a series of motions to suppress, which we're going to go through now. So we've got this first motion to suppress. And it's the motion to suppress the letter. The hearing is January 23rd of 2025. Now, I am having a very difficult time with streaming. I love Razik, who's the judge on this thing. The guy is like no bullshit, but I don't love how they're handling being able to stream anything that's going on in that court. So I'm trying to figure out, babe, for us, like I think we have to get media credentials. I want to try to dip into some of these feeds, like our buddies over at Live Trial TV do, because I think you basically, if you have a media credential, you just coordinate whoever their handles their media over the courthouse, and then you seek approval to be able to dip into whoever the pool camera is, and then you just plug in, and then you can stream it, because it's like, this is a case I really, really want to cover.
I don't
So you
understand what
tell,
you speak of. Like when you're like, then you just plug in, like you're using hand motions, like literally plugging into something.
yeah, there's like a box, like,
So you have to go somewhere, physically go somewhere.
yeah, like Live Trial TV like showed it, and like outside of the courthouse, there's like a control box that you take a panel off of, and somebody's watching it, and there's a bunch of, you have a thing, like some kind of contraption that you plug in, and you're able to.
You gonna go to Utah and do this?
I mean, I want to cover this trial.
Can't we just use?
I don't know who else is doing it. I know Recovery Addict has had some luck, but I'd have to reach out to him to see what the deal is, because I'm sure he's going to be streaming it too. So, all right, so let's dig through this. Kouri Richins, by and through counsel, hereby moves to suppress the 6-page letter that has become known as the walk the dog letter. See docket 214. This motion is filed pursuant to Rule 12 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure and provides the following in accordance with said rule. 1, that Ms. Richins seeks to suppress the 6-page letter known as the walk the dog letter found in her cell and seized on or about September 14th of 2023. Ms. Richins has standing as the letter was written by her and was located within her property in her cell. The issue raised by the motion is whether the letter constitutes, quote, attorney-client work product, end quote, and or attorney-client communication, end quote, and is therefore privileged.
So now it's communications with her lawyer, not a fictional book she's writing.
Right. Factual background. So on or about September 13th of 2023, Ms. Richins was transported to the hospital after suffering a medical incident in her cell. While Ms. Richins was at the hospital, jail staff entered and searched her cell, possibly looking for a letter that Ms. Richins had shown her mother during a video call. Nothing was initially taken from the cell. However, over the course of the following 24 hours, the cell was searched 2 additional times. During the final search on September 14th of 2023, jail staff seized the 6-page letter now known as the walk the dog letter. Ms. Richins maintains that that letter was located in a manila envelope marked, quote, Sky Lazaro, attorney privilege, end quote. And there's 2 different footnotes. You want to read those? Can you see those? Oh, she gone. So footnote 1 was this letter was ultimately determined to be a letter written by Ms. Richins by another inmate, and it was not the letter that is the subject of this motion. That's interesting. And then footnote 2, which we just got to, the manila envelope contained, quote, a fictional manuscript, which this court has previously ruled to be attorney-client communication and work product, and therefore privileged. So whereas jail staff had stated that the letter was located folded in a book titled, quote, 10 actual official LSAT prep tests, end quote, the letter is not addressed to anyone, and there is no evidence that the letter was shown or mailed to any person. The letter, at least in part, discusses conversations and legal strategies that took place with Ms. Richins' former counsel, Ms. Lazaro. The analysis. It is well settled that communications between a client and their attorney are protected by privilege. This privilege is recognized in both Rule 504 of the Utah Rules of Evidence and by statute at Section 78B-1-137, paragraph 2. So or subparagraph 2, in this matter, in the matter of Doe versus Moret, the Utah Supreme Court stated that attorney-client privilege, quote, is intended to encourage candor between attorney and client and promote the best possible representation of the client. Gold Standard Inc. versus American Barrack Resources. It is the oldest of the common law privileges protecting confidential communications. Courts have made clear that the Utah Rules of Evidence provide that a client has a privilege to refuse to disclose and to prevent any other person from disclosing confidential communications if 1, the communications were made for the purpose or in the course of obtaining or facilitating the rendition of legal services to the client, and 2, the communications were A, between 1, the client, and 2, the legal professional or the legal professional's representatives. And that comes from Utah Rule of Evidence 504B. However, the privilege may be waived by a client who, quote, discloses or consents to the disclosure of any significant part of the matter or communication. And that comes from Jones, Waldo, Holbrook, and McDonough PC. So, quote, it is perfectly clear that once privileged material is disclosed without claiming the privilege of non-disclosure is waived. State v. Johnson. So in Utah, the question of whether the disclosure constituted a waiver turns on whether the disclosure was voluntary or excusably inadvertent. And that again is citing Doe. The work product doctrine is a judicially created doctrine now codified in Utah Rule of Civil Procedure 26B6. The work product doctrine protects documents that are prepared in anticipation of litigation or for trial by or for another party or by or for that other party's representatives. And again, quotes Utah Rule of Civil Procedure 26B5. Documents that convey mental impressions, conclusions, opinions, or legal theories of an attorney or party are afforded heightened protection as, quote, opinion work product. And that comes from Gold Standard v. American Barrick Resources Corp. The party asserting work product privilege has the burden of establishing its existence. So for written materials to fall under the work product privilege, 3 criteria must be met. 1, the materials must be documents and tangible things otherwise discoverable. 2, prepared in anticipation of litigation or for trial. Or 3, by or for another party or by or for that party's representative. Again,
Where is the fictional book exception?
did you when you went out? Did you go up and make yourself water?
I had to deal with your father.
Okay, so did you hear kind of they're claiming? So did you? I just want to go back up because Allie missed this. So this is I don't know if you did you hear the beginning of the factual
I
background?
didn't. I was actually seeing if I had a copy so I could pull it up without making you redo this for the people. So I apologize.
No,
but-
it's okay. So this is the way it goes down. So Richins is transported to the hospital after suffering a medical incident in her cell. While Richins was at the hospital, jail staff entered and searched her cell, possibly looking for a letter that Miss Richins had shown her mother during a video call. Footnote 1, this letter was ultimately determined to be a letter written to Miss Richins by another inmate and was not the letter that is the subject of this motion. Okay. Nothing was initially taken from the cell. However, over the course of the following 24 hours, the cell was searched 2 additional times. During the final search on September 14th of 2023, jail staff seized the 6-page letter, now known as the Walk the Dog letter. Ms. Richins maintains that the letter was located, this is the part that's important, was located in a manila envelope marked Sky Lazaro, attorney privilege, end quote. And that's got an additional footnote. And the manila envelope contained a, quote, fictional manuscript, which this court has previously ruled to be attorney-client communication and work product, and therefore privileged.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I'm baffled. You can't just stick something that has nothing to do with your lawyer in an envelope that says attorney work privilege and make it privileged because the letter it is in. So,
Well,
all right.
so I mean, they made the argument, and that's where that beginning part of it is, of the Walk the Dog letter, where Sky is saying even if the gummies have fentanyl in them, the prosecutor will say that I tried to put fentanyl. I mean, that's definitely trial strategy.
Well, yeah, but it's fictional. It can't be both trial strategy and a fictional manuscript. Now, it can have trial strategy in this fictional manuscript, but the things that they're using to incriminate her, you know,
Well,
aren't.
that's where her whole it contains it's all things that actually happened to me, but there's like some fictional aspects that I stuck in there because she definitely says that she would have them. Stupid, I know, but that's what she's thinking. We would still test them though. However, she wants to link Eric getting drugs and pills from Mexico. So we need some kind of connection. Her private investigator is doing some research on the ranch / cartel that would place the place that Eric would stay at. Okay. So
I'd like to read the rest of this manuscript to see how this thing fits into the story. Like in her fictional story, it's a letter she holds up to her mom.
I mean, all right. So
I mean, it has to be, right? It's got notes on it, like walk the
I
dog and like
I don't know if it
destroy
really
this.
is a 61-page manuscript. So I don't like. All right. So It continues that the letter at issue meets the criteria to fall under work product privilege. It is a tangible document that discusses legal strategies in preparation for trial, prepared by or for another party. Further, according to the defendant, the letter was in an envelope that was marked as attorney-client privilege. And even if the letter was in a book, it clearly discusses legal strategy and still meets the above criteria. It is neither addressed to anyone nor signed by Ms. Richins, and there is no evidence that she intended to disclose it, thereby waiving privilege. Lastly, the letter has been identified as part of the fictional manuscript that this court has previously ruled is privileged, and therefore, as part of the manuscript, is clearly privileged. Ms. Richins anticipates that further briefing will be required following the evidentiary hearing in this matter and requests leave of court to supplement this motion with a memorandum of facts and law upon the conclusion of the hearing. And that was dated January 8th of 2025. So interesting. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. And I think this thing is set to go on the 25th of January, I think, is what I saw that date is.
So
If anybody out there
Laura,
can correct me on that.
so Laura in the comment that they've posted asks, this literally marked pages 1 of 6, is that the first 6 pages of the book, not per Kouri. So I see Laura's point, but I think what they're trying to say is within this book, there's a point where the fictional her writes this thing to her mom, and the fictional her is going to hold it up to the window. It is if you take it to like its full, possibly logical conclusion, that's what they would be arguing, that this is like the book where partially true and partially not. She is holding up a letter to her mom, and this is the letter she holds up, which is why it looks the way it does. Now, I don't know, obviously, if the book plays out that way, which is why I was asking Bob, does the book, I mean, is this making sense with the story of the book? Like in the book, are these things that she's doing? So
I don't think that there is a 61-page book. I don't
well, she said that the judge has already found that that the whole manuscript was attorney work product. So there must be.
well,
But
why
she
the hell
also
can't
is calling it a
I wanna
letter
see the
within the
book.
book. Right. But she's also calling it a letter within the book, not an aspect of the book itself, not like a part of the book, the way this is written anyway.
So Laura says that the hearing date is set for the 23rd of January. So yeah, I mean, obviously, see, that's what I'm saying, man. I want to see this evidentiary hearing. All these questions, all these just smoldering questions will be
Well,
answered during that evidentiary hearing.
hopefully we can use the feed of um those guys you were talking about.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'd have to. You're talking about recovery.
No, you
Recovery
mentioned
addict?
I thought you
I don't
mentioned
know. No, they had done a video showing how they plugged in, how they were able to get live feeds. You're
and
talking
they're
about
not gonna have live feeds for this?
I don't think they're covering this.
Oh.
I don't think they're covering this. Okay, so wait, Laura's given us deets. So it ended up being 30 pages that were deemed attorney-client privilege by Mrazek. So, all right, that's interesting.
That's the judge's name.
Laura, yeah, that's the judge's name. Laura, is that available anywhere? Or because it's attorney-client privilege,
Yeah, no, Bob,
we're
come
not
on.
going to be able to see it?
Strike that question from the record.
Well, I mean,
How could it be available, like you just finished that sentence by saying, is it not available because
because
it's
it seems
attorney-client
like it's
privilege?
going to have to be argued at the evidentiary hearing. I guess maybe they'll seal it. I guess. All right. So she filed another couple of motions to suppress. Okay. So this is the second one, and this is Kouri Richins, by and through counsel, hereby moves to suppress statements made by Kouri Richins and evidence seized from her person and her home. So this motion is filed pursuant to Rule 12 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure, and it submits the following in accordance with said rule. Do you want to read this one? I can email it to you.
I can read it while it's up like that. And I just want to say, like you were saying, that she thinks she's the smartest. She, being Kouri, thinks she's the smartest person in the room. I mean, she's accounting for things like why is she using real people's names in the things? Oh, because I couldn't remember whose name was what. So I had the character list on the front. So in this walk the dog letter where she says Sky and where she says Ronnie and where she says Lotto, that she fully intended on later going back and changing all those names to the fictional characters. I mean, she thinks she's got it all
on
sort of
lockdown, and then she
right.
bolsters it by that phone call to her brother where she's saying all those things.
Right. Oh,
And
and
that
mom must not have been listening. She didn't hear any of this. That's why you did not hear this before I just said it. However, the phone call where she says this to her mom's recorded. So that at some point would either exist or not exist, you know. Um
all right, Jamie, I'm going to screenshot that because I'll check that. Like I looked pretty thoroughly the last time it was up, and I could not find it anywhere. All right,
we're
so
making uh Darren work for it with this live.
it's okay. All right, start reading that motion, babe.
Okay. So one, Miss Richins seeks to suppress physical evidence, specifically a telephone and all evidence obtained from the telephone, which was seized from her person on April 13th, 2022. Two, Miss Richins seeks to suppress all oral statements made by her while she was detained on April 13th, 2022, during the search of her home. Miss Richins seeks to suppress oral statements she made during an interview with Sergeant O'Driscoll at her home on April 4th, 2023. 4, Ms. Richins seeks to suppress a handwritten statement seized from her home on May 8th, 2023, on the grounds that it was seized without proper authority of a warrant and is protected by the physician patient privilege. 5, Ms. Richins has standing while she is the individual who made the statements. 6, the first issue raised by this motion is whether the physical evidence seized from Ms. Richins' person on April 13th, 2022, specifically a mobile phone, was seized and or accessed without the lawful authority of a warrant, and whether all evidence seized from that phone is fruit of the poisonous tree. 7, the second issue raised by this motion is whether the statement in paragraph 2 above were custodial statements made by Ms. Richins without the benefit of being advised of her Miranda rights. 8, the third issue raised by this motion is whether the statement in paragraph 3 above was obtained in violation of Ms. Richins' constitutional rights, considering her right to have an attorney present was previously invoked. 9, the fourth issue raised by this motion is whether the statement described in paragraph 3 above was seized without proper authority of a warrant, and if so, whether I'm going to do that again. I'm telling you, there's like this basement is no good for me.
Poor
When
thing.
we are recording our podcast, Bob is always like, "How come you weren't coughing a second ago? What the hell's going on? It's the vaping. What are you doing?" So this is not the first time this happens.
It's true. It's true. We've got I think I need to get not just a dehumidifier down there. I've got to get
Yeah, I'm like looking around for all those like little dusties, like maybe
there's nothing down there. It's
there's something
weird.
here. There's little things that I think I can see in the light that I can't see elsewhere. I mean, but that's everywhere. So, all right, moving on. 9. The fourth issue raised by this motion is whether the statement described in paragraph 3 above was seized without a proper authority of a warrant, and if so, whether it is protected by the mental health therapist patient privilege. 10. Ms. Richins respectfully requests an evidentiary hearing and subsequent leave to file a memorandum of authorities in support of this motion.
Me? Okay. So relevant background. On April 13th, 2022, search warrants were executed on Kouri Richins' home and items were seized from her house. During the search, Miss Richins, Miss Richins was pulled over in her personal vehicle a short distance away from her home. Law enforcement officers seized her personal phone from her vehicle without the authority of a warrant. For over 5 hours, Miss Richins was not free to leave the scene. At the time of the search, law enforcement was aware that Miss Richins was represented by counsel and even had set up a time for counsel to appear with Miss Richins the next day at 8:30 a.m. During the time that she was detained, Miss Richins was questioned by law enforcement without the benefit of a Miranda warning. Law enforcement used the information they received from Miss Richins' custodial statements on April 13th to obtain physical evidence to use against her. On April 13th and 14th, Miss Richins' attorney sent an email to the Summit County Sheriff and to the county attorney's office advising that their firm represented Miss Richins and objecting to their attempts to question Miss Richins outside of the counsel's presence. Copies of these letters were sent directly to the main case investigator on April 14, 2022. On April 18th of 2023, Detective O'Driscoll appeared at Miss Richins' home with another police officer and hidden recording devices and questioned her for over an hour, despite the previous invocation by counsel of Miss Richins' Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. At no time during this interview was Miss Richins advised of her Miranda rights, and her attorney was given no advance notice this interview was going to take place. Miss Richins was arrested on May 8th of 2023. On the same day, law enforcement executed a second search warrant on the Richins' home. This warrant did not authorize the search or seizure of documents. While the officers were searching the home, they came across a closed notebook. The officers opened the notebook, read its contents, and then sought an amended warrant with authority to seize the notebook. The officers' acts of opening and reading the notebook without authority of a warrant to do so violated Miss Richins' Fourth Amendment right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures and tainted the secondary warrant since it was based on this unconstitutional seizure. This document was prepared at the request of and for review by Miss Richins' therapist and is privileged. The grounds for suppression. Are you ready to read, or you want me to keep reading? So 1, the seizure of Miss Richins' phone from her person on April 13th of 2022. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution provides citizens with a right to privacy and prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures of their persons or property. The seizure of Miss Richins' phone without the proper authority of a warrant violated her Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights. Because Miss Richins was not arrested on that day, the incident to arrest exception to the warrant requirement does not apply, nor do any other exceptions. Paragraph 2, oral statements made by Miss Richins while she was detained on April 13th of 2022. The Miranda safeguards apply when an individual is taken into custody or otherwise deprived of her freedom by the authorities in any significant way, State v. Fullerton. At the time of Miss Richins' statements on April 13th of 2022, she was not free to leave and she was not Mirandized. Therefore, any statements obtained from her during this time violated her Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights and must be suppressed. Any evidence obtained as a result of her statements must similarly be suppressed as fruit of the poisonous tree. The Fifth Amendment, quote, creates a privilege that protects the defendant against being incriminated by his own compelled testimonial communications, end quote, State v. Valdez. An individual has a Fifth Amendment right to refuse to provide, in parentheticals, a cell phone swipe code to investigating officers, id, relating back to Valdez. The interview, paragraph 3, the interview with Detective O'Driscoll. So Detective O'Driscoll conducted the interview of Kouri Richins while on notice that she was represented by counsel and that her prior counsel had invoked her Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. Even knowing this, he proceeded with the interview with the intent to get Miss Richins to incriminate herself, knowing she was going to be arrested shortly thereafter. At no time did he offer Miss Richins a Miranda warning. Such an interview was a clear violation of Miss Richins' Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. 4, the handwritten statement in the orange notebook seized on May 8th of 2023. The warrant authorizing the search of Miss Richins' home on May 8th did not authorize law enforcement to seize and review documentary evidence. Nevertheless, officers opened up a closed notebook and read the contents, realizing that they did not have authority to do so. They obtained a second warrant, attempting to authorize the illegal search that they had already conducted. The seizure of the notebook violated Ms. Richins' Fourth Amendment right to be free from unlawful searches and seizures of her private writings within the privacy of her own home. Furthermore, Rule 506 of the Utah Rules of Evidence provides that documents prepared under the direction of a mental health therapist for the purposes of mental health treatment are privileged documents and cannot be introduced at trial. The defense requests evidence be taken on these issues at the previously scheduled evidentiary hearing, which we now know is January 23rd. Additionally, defense anticipates that further briefing will be required following the evidentiary hearing in this matter and requests leave of the court to supplement this motion with a memorandum of facts and law upon the conclusion of the hearing. So what do you think? Oh, she's gone. All right. So, I mean, neither one of these motions seems entirely frivolous. The second motion in particular might have legs. It might have legs. It's pretty interesting. I'm trying to see. I have a transcript. Okay, let's see. Okay. Now, I think this might be helpful. Let me real quickly. I'm gonna let me email this to myself real quick. So I think this might be so what do you think, Bay? Like, 'cause
I mean, I think that there's some valid legal arguments here. I don't know how they all, play out.
hey, crank your gain down just a hair. It's the one all the way to the left on the thing that you plug into, furthest to the left. It's got the little green light around it. Just crank it to maybe like the halfway point or a little before it. Because that's what Darren was saying, that your gain was like you were jamming.
You were supposed to have turned that down.
I know. I forgot. It's my fault. It's definitely my fault. You did ask me. You're like, I don't understand that box.
But you came down here to grab something for me. So I was like,
I
why
know.
would you-
Like, clearly that was not in my brain, though. You know me. I'm old. I forget things. I don't understand your modern world.
Well, now I realize I've been doing the far right ones. Those are the knobs that I keep changing every time you try to get me to change them.
Okay, let me see if this just came out.
What these do.
All right, so I think this could be the actual transcript of this conversation between.
How long is it?
It's 19 pages, but it's
Yeah,
a transcript.
Okay.
So let's see. I think
I got to get on a Zoom at 1:30.
You do? All right, we'll be done. All right, so let's see. Let me just put this. All right, so you're gonna play Kouri, and I'll play the cop, which I love to do.
All right, well, send it to me directly so that I can.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you right now. Do you want me to email it or just text it?
Either one works to my computer because I'm, a normal human being.
Easy. All right, I texted to you. Okay, so the dates line up. So this
I feel like 19 pages is going to take a while.
No, it's a transcript of a conversation. So I'm going to play Detective Woody. You're going to play Kouri Richins.
Okay.
So this takes place on April 13th, which is the date in question as per that motion. So Detective Woody, Kouri?
Yes.
Okay, let me explain to you what's going on, okay?
Why didn't you just tell me to come?
So
I would have came.
We did tell you to come. So hold on. Let me explain kind of why I wanted to ask you, or what I wanted to ask you. All right. So I've been calling the medical examiner's office all morning trying to get information. Okay. So what I've got right now is that I've got Eric possibly died of a fentanyl overdose. Okay. So that's kind of where,
You can call Katie. He doesn't do drugs.
no, well, this is what I'm trying to ask you about because all that stuff. That's why we wanted you to come and meet with us to try to give us some information about what's going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're doing
He doesn't do drugs.
is we're going to go check the house. We want to make sure that there's nothing there because this is super dangerous. It's dangerous for you. It's dangerous for your kids.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted, if you knew where it was, if it anything like that, okay?
Okay.
So do you have the keys to your house with you?
It's
Is it locked?
it's not locked. No.
It's not locked.
I don't keep my house locked.
Okay, is anybody there?
Oh, my nanny, my housekeepers,
Your housekeepers?
my mom, my brother, they're there.
What about all your kids? Are they at school?
Yeah, they're at school.
Okay.
My little one's in preschool. He gets out at noon.
Okay, do you have your
He doesn't do drugs. My husband doesn't do drugs.
okay.
He eats stupid edibles. He does edibles.
Okay. So the other thing with this is what we've got is it's an illicit drug, okay? So which means you're going to have to get it from somewhere. You're going to have to get it from the dark web. You're going to have to order it in. You're going to have to get it from somewhere, okay? So we're also going to search for all the electronics. Do you have a home computer, laptops, tablets? Does he have a work computer?
Yeah, Cody took it, actually.
Cody took it? Okay.
She works for us. Yeah. So she has it at her house now.
Oh, okay.
He has an iPad.
iPad.
I'd have to look for it.
And are they families or his or yours?
No, their work.
Okay.
They're his. That
Does,
one is his.
does he have an office he works out of?
Yeah, but Cody came in and cleaned out the office, his business partner.
Where's the office at? Is that at your house?
It's at my house,
Okay.
but they came and cleaned it out. So she has our work. She has all our work stuff.
Is this
Becky.
Cody?
So her name is no.
Okay.
So her name's Becky and she works for our company. We hired her about a year ago and she came in and cleaned out the entire office. So now my work office is now there.
Okay.
So Cody came and took all the files and everything. So if it's an electronic you're looking for,
Okay.
Becky now has it.
Any kind of electronics. Okay.
There's an iPad. I don't think she took it. If it's at my house, it would be
The other thing is it's kind of odd that there was nothing there that we saw. I don't know if you were trying to help clean it up so he wouldn't get in trouble or this didn't get out. So we also have warrants for all electronics. So that's in case you ordered anything on the phone. If you tried to keep us
he doesn't do
from finding any of this stuff, I don't know that. That's why we wanted to talk to you, is to find out where this came from.
yeah.
So do you have a phone with you?
I have my phone. Yeah.
Is it in your pocket?
We have phones. No, it's in my car.
Okay, so
I have a laptop.
you have a laptop.
I have a computer.
Is that for your business? Is that for you?
Yeah, it's for my company.
Okay.
Did you guys find his gummies and stuff?
That's what we're going to look for all of the stuff and try to figure out what is going on.
I know all of where his stuff is.
Okay.
If that's what you're looking for.
Where's the gummies and stuff at?
So if you go in my bathroom, I haven't cleaned out any of his stuff. Everything is still in the same place where it was. His clothes, everything is still the same. But if you go, in my bathroom, there's a medicine cabinet above it. And he always kept everything, like where the kids couldn't get them. So at the very top, there's just
Okay.
the top stuff. That's where he kept everything.
Okay, so we're going to seize all the electronics for now until we figure out what's going on.
That's fine.
I still do want to talk to you tomorrow because we're still
Well, I wanted to go today.
okay.
I don't know. She just kept calling me
Okay.
and telling me not to go. And I was like, I don't know why I can't just go.
I understand.
I
Okay, so we still do want to talk to you to figure out what's going on. Okay, so rack your brain, try to think of what's you can think of. Okay,
why would he do that? Like, my husband is not on drugs.
and that's why we're trying to figure out what's going on.
Is it cut crack? Like
It's fentanyl. It's a pretty deadly drug. It's something it's becoming more common. It's not,
well, would he get high
it can come in different.
in person? Like I mean, he ran 8 miles that night. Like
Okay.
I just don't.
So that's kind of where we're trying to go is where did he get it from? Who did he get it from? Does anybody know? So right now, we're going to search everything. You're welcome to go back to the home if you want. You can't go in until we're finished, but you can
take it.
do whatever you need. Do you really want to come with me and grab your phone real quick? Is anybody else in the car with you?
No, just
Okay. You said all your kids are at school.
yeah. Grab the computer if that's what you want. If that-
Okay, I'll go and knock on her door and ask her, do you want to take it out of the case or not?
No, it's
Stuff flying around. So, like I said, we wanted to ask all of you this before we tried to find all his stuff, but we could do that tomorrow as well. So, think on it. Like I said, you're welcome to go back to the house, just not in until we're finished. If you need to go make phone calls or whatever else you need to do,
okay. All right. Do you want me to how can I make a phone call if
yeah, I just meant like if you have friends or your mom's phone or whatever else.
can I just write down their
Yes.
numbers? Is that
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Can I just, oh, unidentified male speaker. Sure. Give you that. And then sure. And then he'll follow you back. And then you could do that. Okay. Hold on. I've got a phone going here. End of audio file.
oh,
So
that was quick.
that was pretty quick. Right.
So I don't know from that, I don't think she's being interrogated. Well, I guess she was asked a couple questions and
So, okay, let's see.
I don't know if she was in custody yet. I mean, those are the things that they're going to have to work out. But it's very odd to me. Okay, I'm just going to say if we just ignore the walk the dog letter for a minute and some of the other stuff, like why if her plan, okay, is to act like he overdosed taking drugs on his own accord, does she just keep insisting my husband does not do drugs? My husband does not do drugs. Have you ever heard of a fentanyl edible? Oh my lord, these edibles got dosed with fentanyl.
I mean, people are doing like fentanyl, like without it being like used as the thing that they're
Cutting the drugs.
shit
No,
with.
but I just mean when she's saying edible and he does edibles, I'm taking that obviously to mean cannabis. So, you don't get fentanyl spiked cannabis edibles.
Right.
That's not a beast that has yet been introduced into the world as far as I know. What all of the pot it would have to be like a edible maker who's intentionally murdering people by spiking the edibles with fentanyl.
Edible maker. All right, hold on. Let me see.
Don't tell me there's another call we have to go through.
Oh, wait. All right, so there's one last thing that we'll go through.
Oof.
Okay, and it's quick. It's another transcript though, but it's 39 pages, which I know sounds long, but they go fast.
All right, well, we
But
just
I
did
think
that one pretty fast, so I'm okay.
all right, so I'm going to send you this one. Now, this is from the crime. This is from a body worn cam. Okay, I'm going to send this to you right now. First,
It's faster for me if you just text, but
I
whatever's easier
just
for you.
did. I just did. I
Okay,
just texted it to you.
okay,
You should have
I
it.
got it.
Okay, and then I'm going to do it old school. I'm going to email it to myself. Should be fun. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me get new mail. Should be here imminently. Oh, there it is. See, that wasn't so bad. Okay. All right. So we got this going now. Okay, so this is from the crime scene body cam, March 4th, 2022. Okay. Okay, I just have to get my view. So I will be Deputy Wynn. Okay. And I know it reads Nagayan, but that is
Pronounced Win.
Vietnamese. It is pronounced Win. We know that. We actually know that. Okay. So I'll be Deputy Wynn. You are, of course, Kouri Richins once again. Ma'am, do you want to come out here? What's your first name? What's your first name?
Corey,
Here, let me talk to you out here for a second. Let me let them do their work in there. So what happened today?
I don't know. He was just fine. We were fine.
Okay. And when you say quote we were fine, what time did you see him when he was alert?
We had a drink together at 9 o'clock to celebrate something at work tomorrow.
Okay.
We went to bed. I went to bed with my kids. He went to bed in our bed.
What time did you guys go to bed?
9:30,
9:30? Okay.
9:45.
Okay. And then what alerted you to him today, right now?
What I just woke up. When I sleep with my kids, I'll just wake up and go back in my own bed.
Uh-huh.
And I just crawled over and on his side and
And he was laying in bed?
Mm,
Okay.
no, he was on his back on the bed and I just
Okay. And he was on you say he was on his back. Okay. Where are your children now?
one's asleep in that room, two are awake with their ear to the door. I don't want them to come out. Please don't make them come out.
Now, where are the other two that are awake?
In the hallway bedroom,
And where's that at?
right there. First one to your left.
Okay. Is there a family member we can call right now?
Yeah, I need to call my mom. I need to call my mom so bad.
Okay.
But I think I don't know, one on the phone, I don't know.
Here. Okay.
Can I call my mom?
Yep. I'll give you a phone right now. Okay.
I need to call his dad. He's going to be okay, right? Like I got to bed and then I just
Yeah, they're doing their best. Okay, ma'am. Here, you can use the phone or my phone. Here, you can use my phone. Hand the phone to Corey.
ring.
Ring, ring. Hi, this is Lisa. Corey calling again. Ring. Hi, this is Lisa. Corey calling again. Ring. Hi, this is Lisa. Where's your phone at? I can go grab it for you.
It's just on the floor in there.
Okay.
It's
Okay. That's her phone. Grab her phone. Call some family members to come for the kids. Is this your phone?
no, that's his. Mine's got a big red case.
Okay. Will this phone work?
Yeah.
Because they'll probably.
No, wait. No, that's not even his. I'm sorry. I don't know whose that
Oh,
is.
okay. Okay. Let me go grab yours because they probably won't answer mine. It's not theirs. One should be on the floor from when she called 911. Officers working on Eric in the bedroom. We couldn't find it. You can keep using mine.
Mom, mom, mom,
Yes?
come to my house. Come to my house.
What's going on?
I don't know. Something's wrong with Eric. The police and the ambulance are, I don't know what's happening. He wasn't breathing. And I don't know.
Okay, so this is clearly on speaker. And this is obviously Kouri talking to her mother, Lisa Darden. Who?
Eric,
Where's he at?
he's at my house. At my house. Can you come over here?
I'm on my way.
Okay.
I think my partner found your phone. Is this it right here?
Yes.
Okay, so your husband is Eric Eugene Richins.
Yes.
Okay.
But he wasn't, I just like,
Does he have any medical conditions or anything like that?
well, he has Lyme's disease.
Lyme's disease?
Nothing major. Like,
Okay, so no heart problems or anything like that.
no, he just said his chest was hurting when he went to bed. That's not if he doesn't drink enough water, he gets on his bike downstairs. I don't know. It's just it didn't make any sense. And then he said that he was really tired because he got his allergy shot yesterday morning
Okay.
with my son. They went to I don't
And then when did you discover him? What time?
I got up, I got my phone and it was maybe 3 o'clock.
About 3. Did you immediately call 911?
Yeah. Well, I got up and, well, as soon as I turned over and he was cold,
Mhm.
I just felt like something was wrong. So, I just put the blanket on him because I thought we keep our room cold. So and then I sat there for a minute and I just didn't feel like his breathing or anything. And so I turned the blanket on
Okay.
and it was just like I said, Eric, Eric, and he just felt so heavy.
Mhm.
And so
Any COVID or anything like that?
well, we all just got over COVID.
Okay.
He
And when was that?
a couple of weeks ago.
So not recently.
Well, he so it's just so he like he had a negative test. So I was the last to test positive and then he had it. So his last negative test was a week ago.
Okay, and ma'am, what's your name?
Kouri.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Kouri Richins. Kouri.
With a C?
No. Kouri. We eat gummies. Sometimes he'll eat a gummy before he goes to bed.
Mhm.
It's he didn't it didn't seem like he did though.
So like a gummy as in like a THC gummy.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is his primary care physician?
Herp Lepley in Park City.
Who?
Herp Leppy?
Herb.
Lepley?
Herb.
Oh,
Herb.
I can't I don't know
Wow.
why I was seeing
That
that
would be a
as
super unfortunate name.
I was literally gonna say something like, "That's an unfortunate name."
That guy would have been called like all the kids back in school would have called him herpes. It would have been terrible. So how do you spell it? How's
Herpies. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, Herb Leppy in Park City.
okay? And how do you spell it?
Lepley.
Okay, and that's Lepley.
Mhm.
And when was he last seen?
He just had a physical, and everything was fine.
When was that?
6 months, maybe? I need to call his dad. Can I call his dad?
Yep. You can call whoever you want.
Ring.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, yeah.
something happened to Eric.
What happened?
I don't know. Something's wrong with Eric.
Why?
The paramedics are here right now. I don't know. I was sleeping with Ashton and I came in the room and he wasn't breathing.
And he wasn't breathing?
Yeah.
Do you have the ambulance there?
Yeah, they're here.
They're there.
Yeah.
Where are they taking him?
Nowhere right now. They're doing CPR.
Oh my heavens. Okay. I'll be over in just a bit.
Okay.
Bye. Hey, Kouri, what's your phone number?
Phone number provided.
One what?
Number provided.
1987. Okay. So yep. I need to go. I need to go ask her. I've got to go ask her more questions. I'll be right back. She's got family here. You could be paramedic, Margaret. Offer it.
Okay, so well, let's just start over and explain that conversation ended, and the next body worn cam that they transcribed is between Deputy Wynn and paramedic Margaret Offred, and this is a 10-minute conversation. You
Right.
can start, Bob.
Okay. Yep. I need to go ask her. I've got to ask her more questions. I'll be right back. She's got family here.
I'm pretty sure I threw my glasses in there somewhere.
There's a pair of glasses all the way by the bathroom on the floor.
Yeah.
Just right there on the floor, right by the blanket on the other side, right by the blanket.
God, I'm sorry. All right. Okay, sorry. I can't see because I don't have them on.
I was going to say, I can't even see. That's an unidentified male speaker.
So her mom is here now.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll go.
Yeah. No. We're good. We're just waiting for our ME, OME, and our detective to show up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he had an aneurysm or something with all the blood.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of blood for some unknown reason.
Were you the first on the scene?
We were second, but fire guy was here before us.
And there was blood?
A little bit coming out. As soon as we started doing compressions with the Lucas, it's when the blood came out. So
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
No pulse or anything?
No,
Okay.
no, he was cold. I think he'd been dead a while. Not a long time, but he'd been dead a minute. He was, what is that?
Systole, I think.
Systole. A systole? A systole.
Let's see.
A
You're
systole.
asking a guy who's not a doctor of law, but not a doctor of medicine.
I'm going to systole. All right. He
Okay.
was a systole the whole time.
I'm sure
So,
somebody in the chat will correct us.
and
All right.
chastise us.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yep. Bummer. Pretty young.
Yeah.
Maybe he took some gummies.
Yeah. That's what she was saying.
Is that what she said? And then the hydrocodone? I think there was a hydrocodone or something from
Unidentified male speaker. It was
96 or something.
unidentified.
2016. Yeah. Pretty old.
Did he take that?
We don't know. It was sitting there though.
It's in the drawer right there.
There's something.
It is.
What is that right there? Is that what he's taking for his Lyme's disease?
Yeah.
Do you want to check?
Oh, Turner just looked at it and said it was filled in 2016.
Yeah, that one.
It's under his name. Mm-hmm. I think he sleeps on that side of the bed, though.
With what?
Unidentified male speaker. I don't know.
That might be here in his. Is it in his name?
That might be hers.
Oh, that might be hers. Is it in his name?
It is.
Oh, it's his? Okay, but it's empty, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we gave him Narcan. That would, who knows, probably go in there.
And when you arrived, he was already on the floor, right?
Yeah. She said he had pulled him down to the floor. The fire guy said dispatch said she was doing CPR, but the fire guy said she wasn't. So,
Okay.
all right.
Don't let anyone in here. I need to ask her a couple questions real quick. The mom? No, Kouri.
Now we're back. Now, so now it's returning back to a conversation where
Well,
Kouri,
Corey's obviously walked back in the room.
right, or he's walked back up to her.
Right.
So start with Kouri, babe.
I'm going to need to ask you some questions real quick. Okay. Has he ever been in the military?
No,
No. Does he use tobacco?
nope.
No. And what does he do for a living?
He owns a stonemason company.
Okay. And then when you discovered him, was he on the bed?
Yes.
Yes.
And he was just laying on his side like normal.
Okay.
And I just thought he was cold just because it was cold in there. So I put the blanket on him,
Yeah.
but his body just felt like heavy. And
In which way was he facing? Was he facing towards?
no, he was just up, just facing up.
Okay. So he was lying on his back.
He was laying on his back.
Okay.
I just can't.
And then did you pull him to the ground?
Yeah, that's what the lady on the phone told me to do,
Okay.
was to take the sheet and pull the sheet
Okay.
to the ground so I could do CPR.
Okay. What's his highest level of education?
He has a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
My husband is active. He
Any
didn't just die in his sleep. This is insane.
any mental health conditions?
No,
No? Okay.
no,
How about any suicidal
no,
history? No? Okay.
never. No,
Has he been seen by a doctor in the last 30 days?
no,
Okay. Okay. Has any prescriptions been filled in the last 30 days? No. Has he had a history of falling or anything?
inaudible.
No. Any history of prescription abuse?
Oh,
No.
no, it's just no audible response. So head
Oh, okay.
shaking. No.
Okay. So no.
I mean, when he was in high school and stuff, yeah, he took pain pills, I think.
Okay, so this is Corey's mom.
Maybe it was a reaction to his shots yesterday. And Corey responds, I mean, he said he didn't feel good from them. And the mom answers, he didn't look good last night. Corey says, he looked pale last night. And I asked him if you were okay. And he said, yeah, but he was saying his chest was hurting. But
Did he have any history of illicit drug use or anything in the
no,
past year?
no,
No?
never.
Okay. Do you have the phone number to Herb, his doctor, by chance?
Probably. And the mom indicates, I don't know yet. Ronnie, we'll see you when you get here. Bye. Huh? And Corey says, I don't. It's just at Park City Family Clinic, Family Hospital, or
Okay, I can look it up.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
And the mom responds, who told the boys? Blank said a cop told them, or redacted said a cop told him. Why would you tell a child? And then Corey indicates, no, they shouldn't have told them. I asked everyone
Oh,
not to tell them. And then the mom indicates, they all know. They told me. Corey says, how do they know? And the mom says, redacted told me a cop told him. Corey indicates, would they have told them? The mom says, no, I wouldn't think.
we were in there, so we were maybe the fire department?
Do they know? Mom says, maybe yeah. Corey says, oh my freaking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The mom says, oh my. Corey says, oh my God. And the mom says, God, that number just keeps firing this morning. And I'm like,
Yeah, because we couldn't find her phone.
I thought maybe someone called a cell phone. And then when you Google it, and Lisa says, oh my God. The mom continues, it says it's a spoofed number. I'm like, what? I'm going to go up there. And these people, Corey says, Mom, is the door closed to my room? Mom indicates yes.
Yes, we
And the mom says, they won't let them in. Is he still in there? Corey says, yeah.
so I'll explain to you what the process is right now, because he was in good health at his age and everything like that. Okay, our medical examiner is going to come and do their investigation real quick, and then also our detective, just to make sure that everything is documented, correctly. And then from there, They'll explain to you what's going to happen. Most likely, what I'm thinking, because he has no serious health problems or anything like that. Kouri Richins shakes her head. His age, most likely, they're going to take his body to the
Sorry.
line 6
On 24.
24. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Medical examiner's office, just to make sure that there wasn't anything else.
The mom says, okay.
All right. Do you have any questions for me right now?
The mom responds, no. He had allergy shots yesterday.
Yeah. And then, and that's what she was saying.
The mom continues, he said he wasn't feeling good last night when I was here.
What kind of allergy shots, do you know?
Kouri responds, he gets weekly shots. The mom says, him and his body and his boy get weekly shots. Kouri says they were both just feeling.
At like seasonal allergies?
Yeah.
Okay. Seasonal. And where's that at?
Park City.
I think both mom and daughter say Park City. Family Medical Center?
Uh-huh. No. Jeremy Ranch. No, Jeremy Ranch, Granger Medical.
Say Granger. Okay.
Oh my God, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. It's fine. Oh my God. And the mom says, I did. They're all watching TV. I said, you guys got to go back to sleep. It's 4:00 in the morning.
Cameron's coming off. Cam. Cam? Yeah, you need to go over there and let her into the Sally port to get the van keys. Okay. So unidentified male speaker. So leave this here with you. When, yep. And that ends that call. So
And it's perfect timing because I got to go.
you got a dip. All right. So this is fun. This is fun and tragic. But I love digging through these documents. So there's more. So procedurally, what's going on right now is that there's what they call an interlocutory appeal going on as well. And that interlocutory appeal is relating to a few things, all of which are a little bit unusual to me. But one of the things is that in Utah, unless it is a capital case, they are going to have an 8-person jury. The defense had filed a petition or a motion asking that it be a 12-person jury. That was denied. Additionally, during voir dire, they do that all remotely in Utah, meaning that they don't have the prospective jurors come to the courthouse. They all do it via Zoom or some kind of app like that. So the defense had wanted those to all be in person. And I'm imagining that this started when the pandemic hit, that they started doing. They're like, this is awesome. This is how we're going to do it. Because look, Utah is remote. And I think the concept was that they didn't want people to have to drive great distances, because it's a further distance. Like our courthouse is, a stone's throw, like a 12 minute drive. It's not the case out there. So they have jurors coming from all over the county. So that was denied. What the law is out there is there has to be extraordinary circumstances in order for them to allow for in-person voir dire. So that is really, really interesting to me and very unusual. Like I'm not a fan of that, frankly. Civil cases, fine. Criminal cases where people's liberty is at stake, I think everything has to be in person. Like you don't want, unless it's unavoidable. So that's currently pending at the Supreme Court in Utah. So we're waiting on that to get that. So I'm going to try to figure out a way to get this thing streamed because obviously I really want to cover these. But and additionally, so I saw somebody put Summit in here, Summit County. One of the other things is that it was stipulated by the parties, both the state and the defense agreed that they should expand the veneer by adding 2 additional counties. So both sides agreed and the judge poo-pooed it. So, which is another interesting thing. Again, like I really like this judge. I think that when you guys see this judge, and you see him operate, you're going to be fans of his. He's very no nonsense. He's very bright. When we were able to we did stream one of the hearings. I forget. I think a lot of the ladies were a little bit enamored with him because he was handsome guy. So, but he's like in terms of his candor and his demeanor and his knowledge of the law, he is a looks to be a great judge. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm going to keep getting stuff. We're going to keep doing more lives about this. And obviously, as things are filed, we will 100% cover those. And like I said, I'm going to try to figure out before the 23rd where to stream it. I did see, I did have a couple of, so Jamie had said that a local news station has been streaming them. So I'm going to definitely check into that. Thank you for that information, Jamie. I really appreciate it. So, yeah, I think that's going to wrap it. Let me go through some thank yous. Jennifer, 15 months. Good morning, my friend. You are OG. Family hug. That's like right when we started this channel. So, thank you. Thank you for being a member and a part of this family for so long. Afton, long time no see. We've missed you. Coming in hot with gifting 5DD podcast memberships. We appreciate you always, Afton, not just for your generosity, but for your modding and all the things that you do for the channel. We love you. Dom's mom, what's up? Been missing you too. Member for 11 months. Hey, y'all late to the party. Happy Friday Eve. Same to you, Dom's mom. Welcome. We got Backwood Beats and Outlaw Rhythms. Love that. Loved your tune, man. Loved your tune. I absolutely love the narration. It's like a masterclass in storytelling. I appreciate that. You're not just hearing the story, you're living it. It's like the audiobook version of a roller coaster ride. Appreciate that, man. And appreciate that shout out on your tune. You guys should drop mods. You should drop the link in. Did a great little tune that I really enjoyed, actually. And he was underselling it. He's like, yeah, I just threw this together. But kills on the axe, man. Play the guitar. So thank you for that, Backwood. Appreciate you. And then Lisa, finally, what is the disadvantage of an 8-man jury versus a 12-man jury? P.S. Loved the reenactment. Thank you. We always try to nail those. So I guess it's a numbers game. You know what I mean? From the perspective of, like, to me, I guess it could be argued both ways, really, that more is better, because it's always that concept. I mean, if you think of bench versus jury, wherein the judge is the trier of fact as opposed to a jury, that's a scary proposition because, number one, a judge is going to understand the law more clearly, which theoretically you think that the judge would understand the concept of what reasonable doubt is more thoroughly. However, the problem with judges is that things that you litigate leading up to trial. Okay. And let me back up just a little bit. So the decision of whether or not to go jury or bench, and bench again is when you have the judge as the trier of fact. That's the person who decides innocence or guilt, as opposed to a jury. So like that rests completely and totally with the defendant. That is their right. They have an absolute constitutional right to a jury trial. So if they waive that, they say, I'm going to waive jury. That means that they've decided to go with a bench trial. A bench trial is then your judge is the one who's going to hear the arguments, is going to hear the witnesses, and that judge is going to decide innocence or guilt, whether guilty or not guilty. Which innocence is the wrong word. So not guilty or guilty. So in those situations, it always made me nervous because of all these pretrial motions that you have. Like we heard 2 of them today. Okay. So if, like, say, for instance, the judge does suppress the walk the dog letter. Okay. That means that at trial, the jury is not going to hear anything about the walk the dog letter, nor are they going to hear the contents of the walk the dog letter. Okay. So if you're going with a bench trial, the judge has obviously heard that because the judge had to have the hearing. He read the letter, he heard the letter, and the judge made that ruling to either keep it in or keep it out. Now, if he suppresses it and he keeps it out, like, and look, the judge is not supposed to take it into consideration, and you hope that the judge is able to do that. But like, I'm big on that whole human being thing, and you can't unring a bell and things that are in there and they're just floating around subconsciously. If it's close, he's going to lean one way because he's read that letter. So there's a risk there. So in terms of, and you're dealing with one person, which is where I was going with this. Like, the judge is one individual. Like, I often feel that you have a better chance with 12 individuals. But the question that becomes, is it a better chance at an acquittal or a better chance at getting a mistrial? Because you don't think that 12 people are going to be able to agree. So I could see the argument both ways. I could see it for, like, around here, we call it a petit jury, where it's a smaller jury, where it's 8, like in some misdemeanor cases. So, I mean, my preference is to have 12. I just feel like the more brains in there, the better, as a general concept. So, and especially when liberties at play or people's freedom, to me, it's just one of those things where I'd rather have more than less. So, for what that's worth, there's that. So you guys have been amazing. Yes, that's a great question. Yes, we did. I think we've told this story before, Christine, and this will be my last story, and then I'm out. I got to go eat. So, but we had a case that preceded a case that we ended up doing a jury, and it was a judge. And I know Allie's told this story. This particular judge was furious with us during this trial where our client was charged with attempted murder, and various other charges, and it was all related to this horrific beating that he put on his wife. And then he walked out after she was able to escape the house. She's out in the neighborhood, just bloodied and battered, and a neighbor takes her in, and he tells his wife, take her up ahead. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna call 911. So she's walking with the neighbor's wife. The neighbor's out there. Our client walks out of the house. He's got sweatpants on. He walks up. He's all calm. He's like, oh, it's like, she's fine. She just fell. He's like, just let her come back in the house. We'll figure it out. And he's like, nah, I've already called law enforcement. We'll let them figure it out. So he's like, oh, okay. And then, so in the meantime, the ladies are probably like 30, 40 yards away. Our client, while the neighbor checks his phone, I think he's maybe trying to call 911 again. And in the meantime, our client has tucked a handgun in the back of his sweatpants, and he proceeds to walk following the ladies, pulls the weapon out and fires the weapon several times. And so, our client, when we got the case, he's like, it's like, yeah, the beating, I snapped. And it was like such a crazy case, because this was a couple that was married for 30 plus years, that there was never any domestic, like, this dude snapped, like, for no reason. And it was like, and he had just literally nursed his wife through cancer, like heavy duty cancer, like for a year and a half, like bedridden. Like, it was the craziest set of circumstances. Like, there was just nothing that would have allowed anybody to predict that this guy would have just lost his shit one day. So at any rate, we're talking, and he's like, look, man, he's like, I am an excellent marksman. He's like, I was just trying to scare them. I was not trying to shoot and kill my wife. So we had gone and we had hired an expert, because we wanted to try to find some of the rounds, because the way that this neighborhood is that it was probably on like a 30% grade or like incline. Like, you'd walk up the street and it went up. So like, when you got to like the T at the end of the street that they were on, there was a big house kind of on top of like a hill. And so that was what he was firing towards. Actually, one of the bullets went through a window where there was a kid reading her book, who was in high school. Fortunately, she was not harmed. But we end up, but that is shooting it higher, shooting it above where the girls are. And then we had an expert find a shell in an big old oak tree, probably about 50 feet up in the air. And they were able to compare that round, and it came from his gun. So we went through the trial. The judge was disgusted by our client. He didn't like, he was like, "You've betrayed like the marital bonds like nothing I've ever seen." So the jury came back with a not guilty on the attempted murder, but they of course hammered him with the aggravated battery, domestic battery. And at sentencing, the judge just hammered our guy, gave him the absolute maximum because he was so upset that we had won that particular charge. So fast forward, we have another case, different client, completely different set of circumstances. It was a case where Alice and I really felt like the best thing for us to do was to go a bench on that, because we had a situation where we had three children victims. They were all alleging that they were abused by their cousin years ago, years and years back. Our cousin, or our client, and his mother were swearing up and down, like, "Oh my God, like this is not, I did not do that. Like I wasn't even there." Like they just adamant. And then this is that case where we were telling you guys that the judge, when we, basically caught the law enforcement in a lie that they had called, and had them come out to like the courthouse, and they had met in an area. The guy's like, "Nah, I never met with them," because our client had been telling them that the mother's sister and her son had lived at the grandmother's house where it all happened shortly after they moved out. And again, this was years ago. And so we come to the conclusion that like they've mistaken which cousin it was, because the kids were all young, and it was like 7, 8 years, 9 years ago. It was like a real, like the outcry was years and years later. So we're like of the mindset, okay, like three kids getting on the stand and all pointing the finger at our guy is going to be very difficult for 12 jurors not to buy it, at least one of them. So we're like, we think we got to go bench trial on this. But I'm like mortified. I'm like, oh my God. Dude, like, I mean, is this judge going to be holding a grudge from the last trial because he was so pissed that we got that not guilty? So and we had this long conversation with our client. We gave him our opinion on whether or not he should waive. We thought it was his best interest to go with a bench, because again, that whole concept of all those jurors. So we end up doing a bench. So but before I had my client waive, I really risked a lot, because the judge easily could have thrown me in for contempt. I said, "Your Honor," I said, like, I feel terrible having to ask you this, and I'm not in any way impugning your integrity on the bench, but I just have to ask it. I'm like, you were so upset, it appeared to us, by the jury's verdict in that last trial that we had in front of you, that I'm worried that that's going to bleed into this trial in terms of if we do a bench trial with you." And he's like, he didn't get upset. He's like, "No." He's like, "No. It's like, like that would never happen." I was like, "I would never, ever do that." It's like, that was that case. This is this case. So I harbor no animus whatsoever. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's do it. And we waived, my client waived. It was a long 2-week trial, tons of witnesses, the grandmothers, like everybody was coming on, all the family. And then ultimately, so it goes to the judge, and not guilty. So, I mean, it's strategy always. You got to try to think it all the way through. And I was glad in retrospect that I asked, because I mean, he easily could have been furious that I was even questioning him about that. That would have been like, I could have gotten in deep shit, but I didn't. And it worked out well for our clients. And our client was innocent, like it ultimately was that other cousin. It was a scary proposition, because he was looking at a lot of time, decades, so, yeah, so there's that. All right, you guys are amazing. Thank you for hanging for our Kouri live today. We adore all of you. I'll be back tomorrow with something. I'm going to figure something out. Probably going to talk about the juror talking on Richard Allen. That's probably going to be tomorrow. I have not decided whether or not it will be daytime or evening. Probably during the day. I think we might have some kind of plans for the evening, but I will keep you guys advised. Always check the community page. I always will be posting in the community page a day ahead of time to let you guys what's coming up next day. So always check that tab there. And please like on the way out, share, subscribe. Also, the new episode of Murder on Songbird Road dropped today. Listen to it. Lauren's going to be back with me next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're starting to get into it. We're starting to get into the deets. Like in this particular episode, we are making our first trip down to Marion, Lauren and I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with Julie. It's a really good episode, and we hope that you guys are listening to it, and that we hope that you will come and join us if you guys have any questions. And remember, I'm going to post something on the community page for that as well. If you have questions, I would love for you guys to ask your questions on the community page in the chat there. So, yeah, there was a lot more like the first couple were just kind of like us setting it up, and like there's a lot more me and Lauren moving forward. So, we think it's a really good episode, and we think it's a really good podcast. I think it's worth your time. So you guys rock. We love you. See you tomorrow. Bye.